My name is Donna Martin. I am the Good Life Coach. I am an international speaker and I'm a #1 best-selling author. And what I do is I help individuals and companies that are stuck in a rut. I help them to change their thinking so that they can change the results, to ultimately live their life their way in their own terms. So whatever that means, we all have a different definition of success. And that's ultimately what I do through coaching, through speaking, and through mindset awareness.
Hello and welcome to Obehi Podcast. I'm your host, Obehi A14, and I strongly believe that everyone has a story to share. Now let's get started with this episode.
Yeah, so I grew up, I'm from Ireland. I am an original dairy girl. So I would say the dairy girl has put dairy on the map for all the good reasons on Netflix. So I am a dairy girl. That was the era that I grew up in. That was my growing up, and it was relatively kind of similar to that if you've watched the series. I've always been known to help people, people would always come to me as an empathetic ear, always just a listener, somebody that come to for advice. I was always bringing all the stray dogs, all the animals home. So I've always had that kind of care and nurturing side about me. Obehi, that's kind of has been a common thread throughout my lifetime. And then I trained as a nurse. So I was a nurse for over 15 years before going into the coaching scene. But like that, I had I had 3 key emotional impacts in my lifetime, one as a child, one in my 20s, and one as I turned 40. And ultimately, the third one was the one that kind of propelled me into coaching, as in specifically training. So I retrained as a neurolinguistic practitioner and breakthrough coach. Then I was a client of the international program Thinking Under Results, and that changed my life so radically, so completely in my thought process and my programming, that prior to that, I was a nurse for 15 years. That's the way I intended to stay. I wasn't ever planning to go out on my own, ever to start a coaching business. But this literally transformed my life in so many ways. It's like it lifted the lid. I was able to see wider things that I had never been able to see before because my awareness had raised. And that's where I began with the coaching. Over when people see someone's journey and transformation, they just see it as, wow, how did this person do this? And it must have been so easy for them because they didn't have the baggage that I had. But my first emotional impact was at 4.5 on Christmas Eve when my mother walked out and left us. Now, I have 1 sister and 3 brothers, and my daddy reared us in the 80s when it was unheard of, where a man definitely didn't raise kids. So I had all that thing of not being loved, being abandoned, being a failure. How could anybody else? The imposter syndrome, procrastination, self-doubt, lack of confidence, all of that. And fast forward then, it was strangers that I was doing a home help for, that I was caring for and looking after as a job. I connected with them and they seen a light in me. They seen something in me that I didn't see in myself, that my family didn't see. And it wasn't because it was something of being hateful or whatever. It was just, we don't know what we don't know. And I didn't know that I was worth any more. And it's important to share that because after transitioning, after becoming a nurse, getting a degree, which I never thought I could do, I didn't think I was smart enough or worthy enough, because that was part of my story and I didn't know any better. So when I did know better and do that, I had another emotional impact, and it involved antisocial behavior, it involved bankruptcy, it involved death threats, and it involved me wanting to end up taking my own life, because of a multitude of harassment that lasted over 2 years, that was ongoing, that was every day. And the reason I'm sharing this as well, Obehi, is because I remember at that time that I thought just because you had a thought in your head that made it so. And it's important for people to understand that, because you ask me now, what information did I receive that triggered the coaching, that triggered the thing to all this newness? At that time, I just thought, even as a nurse, that you're educated and your logical mind, and if a thought comes under your head and a feeling's attached to it, then it must be true. It must be your remit. It must be your lifetime, that this has to be your story, that this is what's laid out for you, if you like. But it's not. And what I realized then from this emotional impact 2 years ago, doing a deep dive, when I came across Bob Proctor, who was one of my mentors, it's through his company and Sandy Gallagher, Proctor Gallagher Institute. That's where I trained as a mindset coach, with some of the best in the business, because Bob had over 61 years of this. But when I started re-listening to him, not just about manifesting or not just about getting things, but when he started talking about our mind, about the stick person, about our energy, our vibration, and that the things that we think, that we have a choice, firstly, we can choose to either accept a thought that comes into our head, or we can choose to reject it. So it's not about toxic positivity. It's not about, oh, you're happy, and you're a ray of sunshine and spreading the love. And it's about what thought, what story, what loop are you running in your head? What rerun, if you like, are you playing over and over and over? Someone said this, someone done this, this event happened. And it was only through studying me then and learning what he was teaching that ultimately then it changed my life. It was like a piece, the final piece of the jigsaw puzzle of what I had been asking for over my lifetime, things I'd experienced. Everything started to make sense. And that's when the light bulb came on for me. Then I was like, okay, this is making sense. That's why that happened. Because you can only join the dots when you look back on your life, as opposed to moving forward. But that for me then was when things started making sense, and when I went into the coaching arena then. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. But have you ever taken a coaching course before that moment? Like, have you been, because now you're a coach, but before you became a coach, because that encounter, which sort of transformed your life, is coaching activity something that you knew before? Like, you had a coach yourself? Is there anything you want to tell me about?
Yeah, 100%. Because you can go and train and do a degree or get a certificate or do whatever. And yes, I done that. I trained as a neuro-linguistic practitioner, a breakthrough coach. I trained as a client, have my own coach and mentor, and I still do have my own mentors. And then I done the consultancy to do a deep dive. But all my life, you call it what you want, Obi, you call it, but my whole life has been lessons. It has been learnings. It has been growth. And I have had to process my way through, and oh my God, so many failures, so many mistakes, so many things that I shouldn't have done, that I wouldn't do again. But I don't do regrets, because they brought me to where I am in life lessons. So when you say about a coaching space, if you define it into when you've done a program, it's a short space. But I've always been coaching over my lifetime, and not just me. It's through my lessons I have learned to implement that, how to guide other people. And people just would have naturally been drawn to me, even especially with nursing, because I started out working on a specialist cancer leukemia ward. So we had people from 16 upwards and getting treatment, passing away on a regular basis. I was a palliative care link nurse. I was a CPR facilitator. So you're going into this remit. And the last 5 years, I'd worked with children with life-limiting illness at home. So death, dying, limitations, in that kind of sense. So it's always, you're in that coaching arena, whether it's empathy, whether it's just that listening ear, whether it is just holding someone's hand, guiding them through. And I think for me, that's what makes me unique in owning my own story, owning my own truth, being my authentic self, because there's so many coaches in this arena. And it's about what you bring to the table and the people that ultimately connect with you. And what I bring to the table is me. everything about me, my lessons, where I stand, how I compile and incorporate different things that I know have helped me along the way. And this isn't stuff that it's out of a handbook. This is stuff that I actually apply to my everyday life. I don't believe in filtering out. I had a meltdown last week and I put it on LinkedIn and social media because I roared at one of my kids because I lost it, because I was frustrated. But it wasn't the way to be. And I share that because I had to get down and apologize to my child, look them in the eye and say, Mommy wasn't her best self today, and I am sorry, and acknowledge that. And I think a good coach is someone that stands behind what it is that they're sharing and teaching, that is honest, because we're all learning, we're all growing. And the point of it is to live your life your way in your own terms. And for me, that is happy, content, fulfilled, abundant, prosperous in all aspects. And my core value starts with my family and being my authentic self in my family life. So what you see is what you get, whether I'm at home or whether I'm coaching. People will tell you the same thing. That's just how I operate. I hope that answered that.
Yeah, thank you for that, Donna. Um, Now, you see, we are actually bundles of experiences, no? In that, why would you come in front of a person and say something if you haven't had any experience of what you're talking about? It will look very flat. It will look very plastic. Whereas if you have had an experience and you are talking from that experience, it's very rich because you are just touching into the string of the human being, of humanity, of that thing that connect all of us. When you say, for example, just now that you working as a nurse because you work as a nurse for 15 years or something like that, then you see people dying, you have to hold people's hand, you have to physically be there with them. There is nobody in this world who have not heard of that very close to them, not far away, felt something close to them. Could have been maybe your grandmother, your father, your uncle, or your brother sometime. So these are things that we should sort of learn how to deal with. But of course, not all of us know how to deal with it. So what I'm actually saying is that even though most of us might have had the same experience, but not all of us know how to tap into this experience and able to bring it out in a way that it can help other persons. How do we gather this information and make it useful both for them, both for us and also for other people who might depend on us? In this case, it might be maybe your coachee, the people you are training, the people you are teaching. I'm looking at how we make use of this information that we have so it can be useful for us.
Well, I think for that, it's important to understand, for me, awareness is key to where it's at. And when I say awareness, I mean, if you imagine a ladder, a never-ending ladder, and we are all on different levels, we're all on different runs. So my awareness could be here, my mentor's awareness is here, somebody else's awareness is here. But it's not about competing, it's about creating, but it's about expanding your level of awareness. And so for me, with coaching in the arena, this is where I specialize and offer different tools. So whether you're just jumping on a call to have a conversation and see where you're at with your awareness, to see what is it you need. I have a free Facebook group that people go into where I share the content. I share it on social media, on LinkedIn, because it's the more you listen to stuff, whenever you're ready, whatever you're seeking, whatever you're asking for, when you start connecting, you will hear it differently. You'll start paying attention. And that's where you have the resources then to go and listen and say, okay, is there something in me seeking more? Is there something in me looking to expand? And then it goes on, whether I do the one-to-one breakthrough sessions with people where you can go and expand even further and experience breakthroughs of cutting energetic cords, of doing the whole thing of visualizing, because a lot of people, believe it or not, don't use their imagination. They're really closed in their own mind of their experience, limited by their outer circumstances. So it's important that people understand that there are levels of awareness, and it doesn't make somebody smarter or better than anybody else, because we're all the exact same. The only thing that differentiates us is our level of awareness. So depending on what it is that you're looking to do or what it is that you're wanting in your life, there are different platforms and different stages that you move through, and ultimately it goes to the Thinking Under Results program then. And that's where you fully reprogram, learn a skill set that actually moves you forward. If you're stuck, if you're frustrated, if you're not happy with your current results, then this is a platform that actually moves you forward and to freedom. Does that
All
help?
right. Yeah, it does. It does.
Mm.
And of course, we did it. We just started to talk about the NLP, and because I really do have a lot of questions I would have liked to ask you there. This is why we do take some time here.
Are you okay?
It's all right. Now, when you are in your coaches section,
Mm.
what do you do? I mean, not everybody really understand what they even want to start with, no?
Mm.
And assuming they know what they want, how do you help them from their inability to attain it, to being able to have it in front of them? I don't think it is a simple thing as it might sound. So help me
No,
understand that.
no, and it's as easy or simple. It's simple processes, but it's not always easy, because we have what you call a paradigm. So we have this rucksack of limiting beliefs that we all carry around in our bag. So for me, it was limiting beliefs of not being loved, not being confident, no self-belief, being abandoned. So you have all those different things: imposter syndrome, procrastination, not feeling worthy. So whatever beliefs you have over your lifetime, you carry them with you. So I invite people to come, have a conversation, have a virtual coffee chat with me. 30 minutes, let's talk. And in that, I get you to tell me where you're at. What are you about? Have you a family? Are you married? Are you single? What's your desires? What's your love? What do you enjoy to do? What do you currently work at? Where are you currently? And that's important, because I get an understanding then to look at where you're currently at, to see trigger words, to hear things that you might not necessarily be going, okay, that's in my head. But that's where my skill set as a coach, where I am able to draw out these things from you to raise your awareness. And then I talk about the Thinking Under Results to see if it's a right fit for whoever it is I'm talking to. I see where you're at first and start with that, because Thinking Under Results is 12 lessons. It's done over 6 months, because you need to give your awareness that time to expand. But what I say to people is you need to be ready. You have to invest in yourself, both financially and in time. You have to be willing to do the work on yourself. You have to be willing to not just skim the surface, but to go deeper into where you're currently at and why, and look at the beliefs that are holding you back, so that you can move forward into that freedom with the understanding. And that's why the Thinking Under Results program starts with goal setting. Because if you don't have clarity on a goal, if you have no idea, no vision, if you're so connected to your old story, then there's no room for anything else. If your constant story, because we think in pictures, so you're thinking, the logical part of your mind has already created a story. So it's about creating one that you actually want, not that you think you want, not that you think your partner might want, not that you think that you should have for your family, but what you, if I says to you, Obehi, what do you really want? It's not just as simple as, oh, I want plenty of money and a big house and a big car, because a goal is to grow. It's not to get. It is to grow your awareness, to serve. Why are you here? What is your passion? What is your purpose? What are you here to do? And it's not that you will always know that or figure it out first thing. But when you do a deep dive into you, and that's where my coaching comes in, that's where the facilitation through this whole process comes in. because we all have a know and doing gap. We know what we should be doing, but a lot of time our paradigm, our limiting belief hijacks us and pulls us back into the comfort zone, pulls us back into safety, pulls us back into, you don't need to do that. It's all right. Forget about it. It was just a dream. It's never going to happen. And that's what shuts you down. That's what holds you back. So there's so much stuff where you face a terror wall, where you come up against something and you're, yeah, I'm going to do it. And then somebody will say, and it's this amount, and it's this much time, and this is what you have to do. And then you're like, and then you're like, right, okay, so is it worth it, or will I just stay in this job that I hate? Will I just stick out one holiday a year? Will I just keep going on the hamster wheel on the Groundhog Day? That is why only 5% of the world's population of over 8 billion people succeed at living their life successfully, their way, on their own terms, because they have to be willing to do the work. And this is why it's so powerful. You can change, it's not either or. You can have this and this and this. You can have whatever you want, but you have to do the work. So it's are you ready? Are you what? It's not always easy. You will have tears, you will have struggles, you will come up against it. But ask yourself, are you willing to live a life half lived and reach your deathbed going, I've so many regrets? Or are you willing to say, hell no? Because you don't know if you have tomorrow. Now is all we have. So if you want to live your best life, your way, on your terms, you have to know you and know how you operate on a cellular, spiritual level, just as a human being, but there is more to us. More to us.
I wish I could just leave you to keep on talking about that. That is because it's so powerful. You know why? Because it's actually touching on something that is very important for me. Currently, I'm okay. I'm working on a couple of books. And one of the titles I'm working on is "Discover Your Life Purpose." And this is something actually I've been working on these books for a couple of years. And yes, maybe I will finally let it go soon, and then I will have it published. Because I find it to be so crucial. It's so important that we don't just live on the surface. We are not just like Enangia would say, we're not just following the follower. Because the follower is also following another thing or another person. Everybody just following. We don't even know why we are following, but we just follow. That is not the right way to live. You need to choose your kind of life you want to live. And of course, be ready to pay the consequences.
Mm-hmm.
And there is nothing as important in the entire process as setting your goal. That is why I just so much like it, because how would you know that you get it if you didn't set the target in the first place?
Or if it's a wishy-washy or a blur, or you don't have a clear vision in the first place. Because most people don't understand that this part of the mind, so this is an amazing stick person. And Thurman Fleet created this, the stick person. This is our conscious, logical, educated mind. And this is the subconscious part. And this is our vibration, our energy. But this is us. We're walking, talking, stick people. And so you're magnetized to whatever you put out there. So your conscious mind thinks, okay, I want to change. So what am I going to do? What action am I going to take? You get excited. But your subconscious is the part where your programming is consistently stored. Your internal image, that one that's been stored from childhood, that's the one that gets you all your results. So if your current results is always bouncing back, they're always a frame of, I can't do something, I'm not good enough. Even when your conscious mind, your logical mind steps in and says, right, I've had enough of this, I want to change. Your subconscious will automatically go back. It's like a thermostat. When you open the door and the temperature goes down, the thermostat automatically goes back on to kick in. to bring you back to that temperature. Your cybernetic mechanism or your subconscious mind, the mechanism of that is to bring you back to your current programming. And that's why so many people talk about reprogramming yourself for success, reprogramming yourself for what you want. Because a lot of our current program is outdated. It has bugs in it. It was programmed by other people, whether it's family, teachers, community, news, TV, all of that encompassed. So when you get to a stage of awareness where you're kind of going, actually, do you know what? There's something more. I'm done living this life. I don't choose to live this anymore because we have a choice. That's when the light bulb comes on. That's when you're going, hell yeah, okay, I'm going to do this. And that's when everything changes.
You say when you start using those term program, some people might be having maybe a kind of a different thought to it, but that is the way it is. That is the right words that we should use for it when we talk of how the our head. In fact, I sometimes say that our head are configured. Of course, somebody will be thinking like a computer. Hallelujah. Are you talking of a PC? Yes, it is literally almost like that. Only that it is more powerful than a PC. It's more powerful than a computer, but we are actually programmed. In that when we were born, the information we didn't know there, we didn't even know what is called a form, a color. We didn't know what it means by smell. We didn't know what is the difference between A and B. And this thing do not get into us by accident. Sometimes they beaten into us. Sometimes they are forced into us. Sometimes they are lured into us. But somehow somebody have put this information into us, or sometimes we have gotten this information. In whichever way you want to look at it, it has been programmed into us. Now, we can also live life like that and start thinking that, okay, well, I'm not really in charge. I can't do anything about it. So I just continue to play the loop. Or you can grow to be mature adult at a point to say, okay, now I know how it got to me. I can decide to live with it or I can change it. This is a different ball game altogether, I want to believe.
This has been the game changer for me. When I understood that we are the keepers of our mindset, when we have a choice, because I didn't know what I didn't know. And at one stage, I was that bad to the reams of wanting to take my own life because I didn't know that we had a choice. And for me, I didn't want to be here anymore because I thought if I had to live my life, how I was feeling, how I was thinking, how my physical being and emotional being and the loop that was going on my head because I didn't think I had a choice. When I found out that I did, everything changed. Absolutely everything. So this is why it is part of my mission to show and share with people that we do have a choice. You get to choose. And this should be taught in school. People should know this. They should be singing it from the rooftops, but they don't because people don't want others to know. They want to keep you in the set box, in the set formula of society, following the flock, following the sheep. And this is why it's the people that step away. They have that idea, they go with it, and it's not always easy. But we've all the same choices, if you like. It's just up to each of us to decide if we have the courage. Are we going to do it for ourselves? Because no one's going to come up on a white horse and a shining armor and come and rescue you. Do you know? There's no one. You have to rescue yourself. You have
to say that again.
No one's coming up on a white horse to rescue you. Yeah, they're really not. You are the one that's in control of your life. I am the one that's in control of my life. Even my husband, if I'm giving out to him or I'm blaming him for stuff, I have to stop myself now because I know better. I know, and I know that I am in control. I get to either accept what he has said to me or reject it. And that's not from an ego point of view, but from a powerful knowing point of view, that I don't have to accept what someone else says to me. I don't have to attach a feeling that's not going to benefit me. And the more you practice it, the more you take control of your life, the more that things don't bother you, because you're not ego-based. It's not driven on how they're better than me, or how dare they say that, or who do they think. Be from a place of love, be from a place of gratitude, be from a place of creation, be from a place of service, and everything. Yeah, it's amazing.
Thank you for that. Now, what is the central message of your coaching program?
So the main thing from the coaching program is that if you are stuck, if you're in a rut, if you're in that Groundhog Day, if you are on that hamster wheel of life, if you feel like there is something better, if you have an inkling inside you, within you, that there is something more, if you're getting these repetitive feelings, if you're getting these ideas inspired in your head, if something resonates with you today about what I'm talking about, pay attention, because when you hear the truth for you, for your path, for how you're going, you will hear it, you will recognize, you will resonate with it. The message of thinking under results: change your thinking and you will ultimately change your results. And that is exactly why this program is one of the most highly successful success blueprint programs in the world, in every single country. This is why, as a consultant, I do what I do, why I do this program, why I'm so passionate about it, because as a client, it completely transformed my life, my emotional life, my physical life, every aspect from the inside out. That's how I live, in peace and contentment, regardless of my outer circumstances. I have moments, but I have the tools to dip into, and this gives you your mindset toolbox to enable you to live the life that you want to live, to enable you to ask more questions, to move forward in the right direction, ultimately supported through my coaching, through my mentorship, and through a tried and tested system. So the message is, you have a choice. If you want to change, anything that follows a but is usually an excuse. It's usually a limiting belief. It's usually a paradigm that's coming in to hijack you, to keep you in your comfort zone. So start questioning your buts.
All right. Now, I would like you to tell me something about your book, because I see that you have written a book, and that book,
Yeah, that's it.
as a good that you showed that. As of the last time that we talked, I like some of the things that you pointed out about it, and I believe that our audience will be grateful to learn more from you. So please tell us something about that book.
Yeah, so I had the pleasure of being part of a book collaboration with 9 other amazing women worldwide. And this is the culmination of the book. It's called The Awakened Warrior Toolkit. And it was hosted by Carol Ann Reid, myself, Donna Martin, and another 8 women. And it's about sharing our own spiritual awakenings, our own experiences, our own impacts, if you like, because mine's is sharing about my first 2 emotional impacts, and my chapter is sharing about different things that had come up for me and how I was able to move through them. And ultimately then it shares tools at the end of each chapter. So for people that are reading, you're taking on a journey from all 10 of us in our own awakening. So you're going to resonate with something, but we all use different tools because we're all quite individual. So there's something there for everybody, where you can actually take the learnings from the book, from our lessons, and actually move yourself forward into your own area of freedom, or where you need to go next, if you like. So it's absolutely amazing. And you can get it on Lulu, or you can get it, I'll actually give you the link, Obehi, and you can pop it in if you want, for the people that are listening as well. But yeah, if you've had your own experiences, if you've had your own impacts, and you just like to read about other people and see kind of where they've been and come from. It's very inspiring, very uplifting, and also very useful tool-wise to actually tick and apply them. For instance, one of mine's in the back is always about tuning into your intuition, knowing that your intuition is there to guide you. It's one of your 6 superpowers that we teach in Thinking Under Results, but it's there to guide you. Your intuition will never steer you in the wrong direction. It will never put you in danger. It will never put you in the wrong place. It guides you to the right place to keep you safe, to move you forward, to grow, and to step onto the highest version of you. So that's one of the key points and key takeaways from my chapter alone. Does that help? Or is there anything else you want to ask on that?
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. Do you want to tell me about how the idea for this book came about, and what inspired your own personal contribution inside this book?
Yeah, so for me, actually, the book was a thing that I had thought about for quite a number of years, actually. And it was only through my own emotional impact over 2 years ago that I had actually made a decision that, okay, while we were in a transition process, how was I going to deal with this? So while I was uncovering a lot of my own baggage, I found it therapeutic to start writing. And so I made a decision, okay, I'm going to start writing part of a book that I want to write, and the way will be shown. And literally the way was shown within 4 months of me starting writing. Another lady who trained in NLP, she had actually sent out an email looking for collaborators. It was her second book collaboration, and she wanted other people to come. So I looked at it, I read it, and intuitively I paid attention. And I hadn't a clue how it was going to happen because there was a financial commitment. I wasn't sure with a lot of the stuff that I was doing at the time that I was going to have the time. I have 3 small kids at home, and my husband and me. I was dealing with a lot of legal stuff, house stuff to do with the impact that we had been through, plus my coaching and my clients, which came as my main focus as well. So for me, it was, could I even do all this? But the way it was shown, I jumped on a call and I connected in an instant. Me and Carol Ann, the host of the book, were just soul sisters. We had already met in another world. We just, when you connect with someone, you just connect, and there's just that recognition that you've somehow, somewhere met in another life or somewhere before. So that was the connection to her. And then I knew, and the process it went with ease and flow. It was Authors and Co. that published the book. Carol Ann herself, the co-host, was phenomenal. She had already done one of these in 2019, another kind of toolkit one for healing, I think it was. And the process was really structured, set out, and it's something that I really enjoyed, but it's something I was ready to do. I was asking for, and when I was asking, then the way it was shown. So that's how the book came about, and we connected with women from all over. There was somebody in Spain, there was somebody in Wales, there was 2 of us in Northern Ireland, there was a girl in Cork, and then the rest of them were spread all over England. So it was a really cool combination of a lot of women. And then we actually met up in October last year for the book launch over in Macclesfield in Manchester. So that's how that came about.
Is there in any way this book could maybe relate to your coaching program? Is it related somehow, or is it are they 2 things apart?
So the book, completely related in the sense of it's part of my chapter. So it's sharing my chapter from childhood, from my first emotional impact with my mother, to going through my teenage years, to drinking, to drugging, to my story, to being spiritual, to going to mass, to having different spiritual awakenings and experiences, to going to my second impact, which ended up in me ultimately wanting to end my life to a stage. And so in the coaching program that I teach, the coaching, the elements, it's me. So this, if you like, the book, The Awakened Warrior Toolkit, my first of many awakenings is my chapter. That is what had inspired me it was all those learnings moving forward, which has shaped me into the coach that I am today, because I believe that by sharing your past things, if it's helping other people, it allows them to shine their light. by sharing part of this story, I don't hold on to it in a negative attachment, but I see it as a way of showing others that they can come through their own impacts and still come out the other side. And that it's through the processes and how I live my life, the things that I share in this book, the affirmations, the prayers, the gratitude, tuning into my intuition, meditating daily, getting my downloads. These are all practices that I apply now as a coach, doing thinking under results, but it's also what I apply to my breakthrough sessions. It's also what I've spoken about in the book, because it is a journey. And the whole lot, to answer that question, I suppose they're all interlinked. The book is showing people a part of my life which has brought me to becoming a coach, to why I do what I do today, to why my experiences matter and how important they are as me being my authentic self to actually bring my life lessons as well as my coaching to the table for others. Does that make sense?
It does. It does make sense.
Yeah.
Now, in the beginning, you did talked about you being a nurse before you started your coaching career. Now, I'm trying to see that it's a connection between your experiences in your nursing career and your coaching career. Is there anywhere you bridge the two together in terms of maybe one lady to the other?
Yeah, 100%. Because, well, if you think, so I just transitioned. So if you think, so as a nurse, I was always helping people in the physical, with their physical bodies, with their physical ailments, with their physical aspects, but also connected with their spiritual needs. Especially when I was palliative care, especially when I was dealing with people that were at the end of life, where their families were there transitioning them through the end of their life. For me, that was a big thing, a big privilege to actually be there, spiritually connected to somebody as they crossed over to the other side. So when I talk about nursing, for me, nursing wasn't just a physical thing that you fixed a physical body. It has always been an element of physical, spiritual, and intellectual, where they are all intertwined. Because we are spiritual beings. Inspired is to be in spirit. Meditation is to get those downloads, that inspired idea, that thought from infinite source, God, intelligence. It doesn't matter what you relate to, but we're not just a physical being. My belief is that we do cross over to another side, that there is more. I believe in God, but it's not what I preach. It's not about religion. Coaching is about that element of connecting your intellectual with your spiritual, with your physical here on this 3D world as well. And it is connecting everything. So the nursing has always had a powerful aspect in that it does combine, because for years I've been dealing with people at a heightened level of experience or emotional impacts or traumas. So it's being able to step back or listen or take on board or support them, guide them through. So I've always been a guide for others, whether it is through nursing and now through a coach. It's the same thing. I hold your hand, I support you, and I take you through what it is that you need for you. This is not a cookie cutter. This is why I do what I do. I bring me. There's only one of me. There's only one of you. So I bring all my unique, authentic elements of my nursing, of my coaching, of my skill set, of my own story to the table when I coach. And I intuitively work with people to bring out the best in them, to empower them to see their worth, their value, and to support them as they move through their different transitions. So yeah, for me, they're definitely all connected.
All right. Great, thank you for that. Now, how can people connect with you? Maybe those who want to work with you, I don't know, maybe as a coach or for coaching service or for other thing.
Yeah.
So share with them how they can reach you.
So I'm mainly on LinkedIn these days. I absolutely love it. Find it a great platform, but just in making great connections. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram as well. All the same link, the Good Life 22 Donna Martin. But you can find me on those platforms. I have a private Facebook, same thing, the Good Life 22. So if you want to just go on and have a nosy, see what I'm about, see what kind of videos I share. Everything that you see is exactly what you get. Book a call, send me a message if you don't like it on the calendar or it's a newfangled thing. If you want to chat more and you're stuck in a rut and you're genuinely at a stage where you're just like, I'm actually done. I don't want to do this anymore. I want to live my life my way on my own terms. How do I go about it? Let's have a conversation. That's it. Jump on a call, have a chat, and see where you go from there. That's what it's all about, raising the awareness. And if you want to go further, I have programs, systems, one-to-one sessions done for that specific reason so that you can do whatever is right for you with your level of awareness at the moment.
That's interesting. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I really do.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
If you enjoy this podcast, make sure you subscribe so you never miss any of our future episodes. Rate and review Obehi Podcast and share with your friends who might need it. I remain Obehi Ewanfo. Thank you so much for listening and talk to you in the next episode.